Bill show. We did one for the O&G. Anything that's come out of those shows that maybe you forgot about?
Yeah, yeah. Every show has come up with something that has jumped off my mind, fell off the radar, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Because obviously, a lot of it deals with perspective, where you are and what your interests are. But there are a lot of stories that were out there, and we were even discussing some yesterday that were left off everybody's list. And we were going back and forth with each other as we were trying to get our headlines together for this show. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then here's the other thing, Brian. How many of those stories you were like, was that this year? Was that last year? As these sports years tend to, when you go from sports year to calendar year and try to remember whether it occurred in that calendar year or in an academic year, it gets kind of tough sometimes keeping all that stuff together. And one other thing, Brian, I did have one new vocabulary word that I got in my lexicon this year, Brian.
Okay.
Duopoly.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I learned what a duopoly was. If I didn't learn anything else this year, I learned what a duopoly was thanks to HBCU Go and those people over there.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little last week. The overwhelming contract with the whole HBCU Go was probably the story or moment. It definitely was one of the top three. I think of the year. I mean, you could whether you want to say Coach Prime and the year of Coach Prime, the good, bad, and the ugly. Whether you want to include that as one of the moments of the year, because it seemed like every week, every month, there was something. The HBCU Go deal, what we learned about compliance. Those are just some of the things that. But I think media rights and understanding, and I still to this day, Drew, don't think people really grasp media rights because I think people still are comparing, uh, which you should never do. You're comparing a billion dollar industry, SEC, with a $1 million industry, which is SWAC. Uh, and it's two different things, So
Night
I
and day.
think night and day. It's night and day, and I think there's also a historical precedent in that as well, which also I think affects the numbers. So I just I think we're still looking for clarity. I think people are looking for their own individual understanding. Because I think most of us are visual. And what we want to be able to see, Drew, we want to be able to see numbers. See what it is you can see in the SEC is you can see numbers and you can see the direct impact of numbers, right? You can see the value in the money and you can see the 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 facilities. You can see the locker rooms. You can see the improvement in recruiting budgets, which allow for them to you all those things are tangible, but we're still at the infancy stage. So I hope people can, no one's been able to sort of pump the brakes a little bit in this whole thing, as they have, people have sort of argued and fussed about, how much money this is providing, this is giving. Nobody really is sort of. I think what I really wish more people would turn to in 2023 is towards NIL, to be honest with you, because there are opportunities for HBCUs and HBCU schools within the NIL market. Each school, through whether it be alumni organizations, collectives, could be doing more. And why aren't we doing more? You know, uh, that's something that I think, really could be a powerful play in 2023. So it's time to stop talking about it so much, and let's start making it happen for these young people.
Yeah. Well,
Just
Brian,
my two.
NIL is a good thing. NIL is not for everybody. I mean, who's going to benefit from NIL? The quarterback, the wide receiver, the leading scorer on the basketball team, maybe the hot pitcher on the softball team. You know, maybe if you've got, but you're probably talking about 10 to 20 athletes at a university who would benefit from NIL. What we need to look at for our universities is making them more competitive, especially our Division I universities, by being able to increase the money that the athletic departments have so they can give cost of attendance.
Hmm.
And for those who are not familiar with cost of attendance, that is the money that student athletes receive on top of books, room, board, and and meal plans to attend the school. You know, that includes costs such as how much does it cost for you to get from your home in Indianapolis, Indiana, Brian, to Tallahassee, Florida, to go to Florida A&M University. That includes some of the other ancillary costs. Entertainment costs is included in that. You know, can these kids get $5,000 each? Can they get $10,000 each? And you break it up over 2 semesters. Can they get $1,000 each right now, Brian? I'd be happy if these kids got $1,000 each for attending these universities. But let's keep in mind, you're talking 200 to 300 athletes at a university, so that's a nice chunk of change if you're going to do it. So if you had 250 athletes and you were to give them 25 if you would give them $5,000 a piece, well, that's $1.25 million, Mariah. That has to be found somewhere. So,
Hmm.
but those are some of the things that we need to build toward, and NIL, as you like it, become the gravy on top of it because student athletes can't be like.
I did want to talk a little bit about bowls, and people have asked questions about the Celebration Bowl in terms of the payout. What does that look like? Just to give you updates there, you're talking about $1.2 million payout in terms of the bowls that go to the conference. A percentage of that goes to the institution, depending on the split. 75-25 for the SWAC, 70-30 in terms of the MEAC, or that was the last percentage breakdown in terms of what that looks like. But I want to do a little comparison so you get a chance of what does that look like. Obviously, you have the major bowls, and you've seen what they do as they off the chart in terms of the New Year's Six, $14 million, significant type of money. But you see how long they've been in the business for the Rose Bowl, going back 100 years in terms of what they do there and how they're tied into the CFP and how they have really engulfed all that money. But if you look at some of the other bowls out there, there was an article that talked about the Quick Lane Bowl, really focusing on New Mexico State, which it was encouraging fans to purchase tickets. And it wasn't so much about purchasing tickets. Obviously, you want to support your team, but a lot of it would maybe be of the distance that a lot of fans wouldn't necessarily travel for a 6-6 Aggies team that was playing a 6-6 Bowling Green Falcons team, if you would, coming out of the MAC all the way in Detroit. So they were asking fans to support the team that did make a bowl and purchase tickets so they could donate them to Detroit area youth. That's a great thing for the youth to get a chance to get out and see some college football. But I wanted to get into some of the money. When you talk about this particular matchup, when you see what was going on here, three things to know about the Bowling Green is they entering into at that time the Quick Lane Bowl, which was this past week, if you would, a week ago, I should say. The university closed travel cost them $400,000 travel to Detroit. When you talk about the Celebration Bowl, one thing is unique. You heard last year they got the deal with Delta actually flew the teams in there to Atlanta, and that was at no cost to the teams. So you didn't have to worry about that type of cost where you see it doing $400K for Detroit. And so some interesting things there when you think about it. But this is really it was interesting when I seen this when you talk about these payouts. Because a lot of folks talk about $1 million, $2, $3 million payouts for these bowls. One thing people don't realize, a lot of times these bowls are a bigger number in there, but they'll charge you, as you see, for your travel, your hotel stay, food and things of that nature while you're in there. They'll also charge you for the band in terms of the band and who you bring in there. They'll charge you a ticket price for the band members in the stand. And so the payout for the Quick Lane Bowl was $150K. Yeah, let me say that again. The payout for that bowl game was $150K, and which is why you see the fact that they were encouraging their fans to buy tickets, because this is where it can get a little benefit to the team. New Mexico State athletic director was quoted saying that the university will retain 100% of the revenue from the first 2,000 tickets it sells, 50% of the next 2,000 tickets, which by New Mexico wants its fan base to purchase all of these tickets, because if they did, they could recoup $420K in terms of what that means. So just to give you some indications of what's out there and why you really need to look at the contracts, or at least get some more information of some generalities of these various bowl games to get an understanding of what that looks like. So just on the surface, I'll go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of what that looks like when you see, especially some of these small bowls, in terms of what they bring to the table when you compare? Because a lot of folks will instantly go to the larger bowl games and say, hey, they're paying out this. And just so one of the things we always like to talk about only is the business side. So you see some of the numbers that go out there and get an understanding what that looks like. What are your thoughts?
Tremendously enlightening to really find out some of the ancillary costs. I think that those are things that you almost oftentimes take for granted, Dr. Gill, that you know, those the charging for the band and things of that nature. So you never sort of calculate those into what goes into the bigger picture. But it's fascinating to see the numbers finally, you know, out there for all of us to really grasp and understand, you know, what a jewel that you have within the Celebration Bowl, I think.
Yeah, and you see the numbers continue to move up, which always helps both in terms of attendance and the ratings, which is more powerful. So when you sit back in the table, it gives you a chance to continue to push for bigger payouts. Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of just getting a different framework of what the bowl landscape, how varied it can be at the time?
Yeah, you often wonder, you know, you look at all of the activities that take place, and then you look at, you know, who's transporting the group here, who's transporting the group here, who's paying for this dinner, who's providing gift baskets for the team. Those are all costs that are buried underneath the umbrella of the bowl cost. So, and you take that into consideration, and then you wonder, does the bowl game have the sustainability of growth and volume over the course of 3 to 5 years to kind of, you know, eat a lot of those ancillary costs down, you know, such as transportation costs, hotel costs, dining costs, you know, their awards costs, or whatever. I think in some bowls, some of the bigger bowls, I think some of the players get gifts.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College in lovely Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We've got SSAC action tonight as the Lady Tigers of Stillman will take on the top seed in the entire league, and that is Loyola, the Wolfpack. I bring greetings to you. My name is Mo Carter, going solo on the Dolo today inside of Birthright as Stillman takes on Loyola. This is the second time these two teams have faced each other. The last time it was Loyola that came up with a 72-48 win over Stillman. So coming into tonight's game, Loyola is 21-1 on the season. Their lone loss came to Bruton Parker in overtime back on January 19th. Since then, they have won 5 in a row. Stillman, though, they're on their own win streak as well. After losing 5 straight games, they have now won 2 in a row thanks to victories recently over Life University, a 69-66 affair, and a win over Middle Georgia State, 67-45. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a quick break for the national anthem, and when we return, it'll be time for tip-off here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall between Stillman and Loyola from out of New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Mo Carter. We'll be right back here on BCSN.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and sing. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one outpizzas the Hut.
It's like a loot machine.
Back here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College as the Lady Tigers get ready to take on the Wolfpack from out of New Orleans, Louisiana. So Loyola enters Birthright Alumni Hall for the 7th time since Stillman joined the NAIA as the Tigers looking to snap a 2-game losing streak against the Wolfpack and extend a 2-game SSAC conference winning streak of their own. Since Stillman has joined the NAIA, teams have faced off 13 times, with 12 of those matchups occurring as conference opponents in the SSAC. So clearly this is going to be a very, very, very tall task today for the Lady Tigers of Stillman, but Coach Aliko Duncan Company, they are riding a little momentum and a win streak of 2 straight games, and they can pull off a victory today. It will go a long way when it comes to the rest of the season, for one. And also, you want to finish your season off strong because the SSAC Women's Basketball Tournament is only 13 days away. Yes, it will begin on Wednesday, February 22nd at the Multiplex near Crampton Bowl down in Montgomery, Alabama. I actually had a chance to check that tournament out many times when I worked down in Alabama's capital city, and it is definitely one one tournament that a lot of people definitely come through and support. They make do with the makeshift court inside the Crampton Bowl multiplex, and then from there, teams go at it with a chance to win a championship. So, of course, that begins on February the 22nd. And on the first day for the women, you will have number 7 against number 10 and number 8 against number 9. So, if the SSAC tournament were to begin today, Stillman would definitely be in it. They would probably face off against Life University in the 8-9 matchup if the SSAC tournament began today. As for the Loyola Wolfpack, they would get a first-round bye, and they would not have to play until well later in the week, as a matter of fact, on Thursday. They would actually take on the winner of that game, that 8-9 matchup. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But look, let's go ahead and let's jump into the action. We're getting ready with the jump ball coming up. Stillman rocking the gray uniforms with the blue stripe trim on the side along with the gold numbers, while Loyola is rocking an all-black uniform with maroon stripes on the side, maroon numbers, and a gold trim around that maroon. So we're getting ready to get started right here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. It's Stillman. It is Loyola, and the first tip is controlled by the Wolfpack. As I mentioned, the Wolfpack coming to today's game 21-1 on the season. Their only loss was the Bruton Parker in overtime. So starting things up, it's Kennedy Hansberry. She will swing it out in the corner. Back outside and loses the ball, and there's a steal right there. Look, Jordan Moody comes up with the rock. She will push it up court to Amaria Strong. Here comes Strong. She will drive to the basket and goes off glass and scores. 2-0, Tigers out on top. Lanesia Warner putting the D on Kennedy Hansberry. Hansberry will swing it out. Now she'll get the ball back. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here comes Hansberry, one of the leading scorers on the team. She's going to drive, and the ball is taken away and stolen by Stillman. Stillman's got numbers on the fast break here inside. Oh, there's a missed bucket right there inside, but rebound goes to the Lady Tigers. Here's a shot that goes up off the mark, but the rebound and the putback is good by Stillman, and the Lady Tigers are now on top 4-0 on the 9th-ranked team in the entire nation. Jamisha King with that last bucket there. Here's Jasmine McMillan. She will get it over to Hansberry. Hansberry thought about a three. Back over to McMillan. McMillan with the pump fake, the drive inside. Wild shot, and it goes in. McMillan with the bucket makes it 4-2. Here comes Jordan Moody running the offense. They'll get it over to Farrah Pearson. Pearson back over to Moody. 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. Now into the hands of Jamisha King. King over to Amani. Actually, here comes Farrah Pearson. The long jumper, it's off the mark. Rebound, Jamisha King. The turnaround jumper off the mark as well. Rebound goes over to the Wolfpack, and they're going to push it up court. And we got a charge. How about Farrah Pearson taking the charge right there on the play? Taylor Thomas will be called for the offensive foul. So the Wolfpack showing a little full court press now. Can Stillman break it? They're halfway there, and they do. To get it over to Jamisha King. Down low to Farrah Pearson, and she scores in the bucket. She puts the Tigers on top, 6-2. Bringing the ball up court now is Taylor Thomas. Thomas goes inside to Kennedy Hansberry, and she gets the bucket, making it 6-4. Nice backdoor cut by Hansberry on that play. Jordan Moody running the offense once again. Here comes Moody. She'll swing it over to Lanesia Warner. Back in the hands of Jamisha King. King loses the ball out of bounds, and it will go back over to the Wolfpack. Great start so far for Stillman. They're up 6-4 on the 9th-ranked team in the entire country and the #1 team in the SSAC. Going inside right now is the Wolfpack, and that shot is missed badly by Sandra Kennedy. But it was last touched by Stillman. Ball will remain with the Wolfpack. Wolfpack head coach is Kelly Kennedy. She's now in her 15th season as a head coach down there in the Crescent City. Here's a pull-up jumper by the Wolfpack. It's up, and it is good as Jasmine McMillan knocks it down. Jasmine McMillan, junior guard from out of Mayflower, Arkansas. She measures in at 5'10", and she ties the ball game up at 6. Can Stillman respond? Here's Farrah Pearson over to Jordan Moody. Moody will get it over to Imani Winbush-Gay. Excuse me, that's actually Lanasia Warner. Now back over to Warner, and Warner pulls up for 3, and she knocks it down. 9-6 is your score. By Amaria Strong knocking down that 3-pointer, making it 9-6. Lady Tigers now on top. Into the hands of Liz Critton. Now inside, and there's a good defensive play right there by Stillman, but they're going to be called for the foul on that one. So going to the line right now will be Kennedy Hansberry, 5th-year senior from out of Atlanta, Georgia. Amaria Strong was called on that foul last. So taking a look at the stats for Miss Hansberry, pretty good free throw shooter, 79% on the year, and she shows us why, and she knocks down both of the buckets. It's now 9-8. Stillman hanging on to a 1-point lead, and there's a steal right there by Hansberry. She will throw it inside, but ball gets stolen away by Stillman. Throwing it up court, here's Jamisha King. She's in front of everybody. They're going to slow it down now. Into the hands of Jordan Moody. Here's a shot off the mark by Farrah Pearson. Into the hands of Hansberry. Hansberry is going to pull up from the charity stripe, but misses the shot off the back iron. Rebound goes to Farrah Pearson. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Stillman on top, 9-8. We're here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. Stillman taking on the #1 team, not only in the SSAC, but by far one of the top teams in the entire nation, as Loyola is ranked 9th in the entire country. Here's Jamisha King. She's got a good look. She'll get it over to Amaria Strong. Now inside the King. King goes off glass, off the mark. Shot clock expires as she was not trying to knock down that shot. Here's Taylor Thomas. The good move inside, but she can't get the kind roll. It does not go in her favor. Rebound goes to Stillman. Here come the Lady Tigers. Now in the hands of Jordan Moody. And we got a 3-point attempt. It hits the back iron as well. Maria Strong misses that 3-pointer. It remains a 1-point game. It's 9-8 as we approach the 4-minute mark in the first quarter. Here's Liz Critton. She'll get it over to Taylor Thomas. Back over to Critton. Into the hands of Hansberry. Now over to Critton. Critton will stop and pop and pulls up and knocks down the shot. Loyola takes their first lead of the game. It's 10-9. Wolfpack on top. Here's Moody. She'll get it over to Farrah Pearson. Pearson now into the hands of Jamisha King, and there's a steal right here. Coming up the court is Jasmine McMillan, and Jamisha King will give her a pretty hard foul right there as she goes up for the layup. So heading to the line will be Jasmine McMillan, and we're going to take a media timeout. 10-9 is your score. Loyola on top. We'll be right back on BCSN.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from Finance likes getting performance without a big price tag.
Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado with a sophisticated high-tech interior.
Open the door.
It's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall as Stillman takes on the number 9 ranked team in the nation. That's the Loyola Wolfpack. I'm Mo Carter, and we are watching Stillman College basketball on BCSN and HBCU League Pass Plus. Stillman is 2-1 this year against NAIA top 25 team. They do have a win over previous ranked number 6 Southeastern in Florida and number 21 Russ College back in November. Their only loss has come to this same Loyola Wolfpack team. So both free throws were missed by Loyola on that one, so Stillman catches a break right there. Here's Stillman moving from left to right on your TV screen. Here's a drive inside by Lanasia Warner, gets the bucket right there. Making it 11-10 Stillman. And we got a foul on the other way. Amaria Strong will be called for the foul. Jordan Moody will check back into the game. Foul was on the floor. Now here's Sydney Tangle running the offense. Tangle tries to do a backdoor cut, but the ball eventually is tipped away and stolen by Stillman. Can they capitalize off the steal? The answer is no, with a missed shot, and the ball will go back over to Loyola. Stillman trying to make history tonight. They have never defeated 2 NAIA top 10 teams in the same season. But as I mentioned, they've already knocked off Southeastern this year, and if they can beat Loyola's Wolfpack tonight, they will achieve that feat. And we had a foul that will result in a shooting foul. So going to the line is Kennedy Hansberry, once again one of the better free throw shooters on that team at 79% on the year, and she is money. She ties the ball game up at 11 apiece. His second free throw actually hits the back iron. Rebound goes to Stillman. Here comes Jordan Moody. Moody trying to help her team unbreak this tie. Now into the hands of Lanasia Warner. Back over to Moody. Alexandra Heyman tried to throw it inside, and the ball goes off the hands of Amaria Strong. And we got a traveling violation. Ball will go back over to Stillman. .148 to go in the first quarter. Wolfpack putting on the full court pressure, and Jordan Moody throws it away. Ball will go back over to the Wolfpack. That's what they do to you. They will create turnovers early in the game to put the pressure on the opposition. So here we go. Ball is being taken out on the side by the Wolfpack, and there's a miscommunication on that play right there as the Wolfpack throw it away out of bounds. Tigers will take over. Here's the Wolfpack once again with that full court press. Can they beat it? Here's Heyman. She throws it up court, but it is stolen by the Wolfpack by way of number 11, Sydney Tango. Here's a shot under the goal, off the mark, then a block shot right here by Desiree Tyner. Good block by Tyner. Tyner will get the ball up to Jordan Moody. Approaching the 1 minute mark to go in the first quarter. We're all tied at 11. Here's Moody trying to work it inside. She cannot. Alexandria Heyman will get the ball on the outside. She will stop, go off glass. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound goes to the Wolfpack. They're going to try to push it up court with Kennedy Hansberry. Hansberry misses the layup. That layup was contested tightly, though, by Stillman. 45 seconds to go. Jordan Moody. Coming off a screen, she's going to keep the ball. She'll get it over to Desiree Tyner. Tyner swings it over to Strong, off the screen. 4 seconds to go on the shot clock. They've got to get a shot off. Here's Heyman. Her shot's off the mark, and Heyman's going to run down the ball. Shot clock is off. 15 seconds to go. Jordan Moody, she's got the rock. 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Here's Moody. Moody's going to drive past everyone, and she's going to be called for travel. 4.3 seconds to go. Here's Loyola. They've got a chance. And Jordan Moody knocks it out of the hands of number 11, Sydney Tango, and that's where we're going to end the first quarter at. So we've played one. We got a tie ball game between Stillman and Loyola. It's 11-11. We'll be back with second quarter action right here on BCSN.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado. With a sophisticated high-tech interior,
Open the door.
it's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall here on the campus of Stillman College. Stillman taking on 9th-ranked Loyola today inside of Birthright. Welcome back to all the action. We are tied at 11 as we begin the second quarter. First quarter stats, to take a look at it like this. Stillman, 5 of 15 from the field. They were 1 of 1 from three-point range. For Loyola, they were 4 of 11 from the field, 0 for 2 from behind the arc, but they did get 3 out of 6 free throws. So here's the beginning of the second quarter. Stillman has the rock. And Stillman loses the rock. There's a steal. Going up court to Tango, and Tango can't make the bucket, but off the rebound, the putback is good. And Loyola's on top, 13-11. Sandra Kennedy with the putback bucket right there off the turnover. Loyola's going to try to give them a little double team down. Eventually, they'll get it over to King, and King tries to spin into a crowd. She'll now kick it out. Here's Farrah Pearson for three. Three-pointer off the mark. There's a rebound. It looks like we've got jump ball. And the possession will go over to Loyola. (13-11) is your score. Wolfpack up by 2 as we're just getting things going in the second quarter on the campus of Stillman College. Stillman trying to knock off the number 9 team in all of NAIA women's college basketball. But clearly it's not going to be easy. There's a three-pointer. That is off the mark. Rebound by Stillman. They've got numbers pushing it up, but we're going to kick it back out. Here's Heyman, get it over to Pearson. Pearson over to Jamisha King. Ball almost stolen, but instead we get a shot that is off the mark by Warner. Rebound goes to Tangle. So here's the Wolfpack. They've got 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's a three-pointer by Tango. Hits the back on. Rebound goes to Jamisha King. Both of these teams with winning streaks coming into tonight's game. Loyola is on a 5-game win streak, while Stillman's on a 2-game win streak. Speaking of Stillman, trying to go inside to Farrah Pearson. She cannot score the bucket right there. So the ball goes back over to the Wolfpack. Bring the ball up court is Hansberry. Hansberry is going to kick it out to Sandra Kennedy. Now into the hands of Sydney Tangle. She'll get it over to Tara Snell. 9 seconds to go. Here's Snell trying to put some moves on the Stillman defender, and she shoots an air ball. Goes out of bounds, and Stillman will take over the possession. Good defensive effort right there by the Lady Tigers on that possession. So on the court right now for Stillman, number 2, Kelsey Smith. Number 5, Jamisha King. Number 10, LaNasia Warner. Number 30, Alexandra Heyman, who actually just checked out of the game. Into the game is Amaria Strong once again, along with Farrah Pearson. Stillman trying to get the ball around. Here's LaNasia Warner. Warner's going to take a deep three, hits the front iron, but goes back in the hands of Misha King. She scores, and she fouled on the putback. Jamisha King, dandy on the spot right there. More like, hey, look what I found. Let me score it, and then, hey, I'll pick up a foul, too, in that process. She ties the ball game up at 13 apiece, trying to make it a 3-point play. And she does. Stillman back on the front, 14-13. Here comes Loyola, and on the play, we're going to have a foul. So going to the line for Loyola will be number 3, Tay Cannon, 5th-year senior guard from out of Prattville, Alabama. Cannon's a 65% free throw shooter on the year. And she ties the ball game up at 14 apiece. And Cannon gives her team the lead once again, 15-14. Back and forth we go here in this second quarter. Wolfpack putting on that full court press again. Stillman's got to find a way to break it, and they do not. And guess what? On this play right here, results in a steal and a score for the Wolfpack. They extend their lead to 17-14. Stillman's going to try to run it up the court now. And on the baseline, we got a foul on the Wolfpack. We can credit that last shot by Loyola to Sandra Kennedy, as she came up with the steal and the bucket. On the inbounds, here's Farrah Pearson. She will get it over to Alexandra Heyman. Her three-pointer hits the back on. Rebound goes to the Wolfpack. Wolfpack throw it up the court. It goes to the hands of Taylor Thomas. Thomas for three, and she knocks down the triple from beyond the arc. So just like that, Loyola is on a 7-0 run, and Coach Aliko Dunk needs a timeout, so we're going to take it with them. 6:21 to go. Wolfpack up 20-14 over Stillman. We'll be right back here on BCSN.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And we're back here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. 20-14 is your score. Wolfpack on top of the Lady Tigers. Wolfpack now with the ball. They will get it over to Taylor Thomas. Thomas gets to the hands of Tay Cannon. 9 seconds to go on the shot clock. Back over in the corner, here is Tango. Now going inside is Kennedy. She goes high off the glass and scores over Farrah Pearson. Sandra Kennedy with the bucket. 6'1" senior forward from out of the Woodlands, Texas. For people unfamiliar with that, it's in the Houston area. Here's a drive on the baseline, and the shot is off the mark by Farrah Pearson. 22-14 is your score, and then now it's 24-14 with another bucket right there by Kennedy. And all of a sudden, Loyola is on a 13-0 run. Lady Tigers need a bucket desperately. Can they get it here? No, they cannot. Three-pointer off the mark by LaNasia Warner. Running the offense now, Sydney Tango. Gets it over to Cannon. Cannon, the turnaround jumper on the baseline is off the mark. Here comes Kelsey Smith. Smith being guarded by Tango. She will get it over to Farrah Pearson. Pearson is going to try to drive. The spin inside, off glass, off the mark. Wolfpack running up court. Here comes Kennedy. Kennedy, the turnaround jumper is off the mark, but she's going to be fouled. Looks like the foul is going to go on Kiesha McKinney. And in the free throw line is going to be Sandra Kennedy. Kennedy averages about 14.5 points a game. From the free throw line, she's a 74% free throw shooter. And her first shot, money. 25-14 is your new score. She goes 2 for 2 in that situation. Canada has 10 points on the evening. She leads all scorers on both teams. Here comes Loyola with that full court press once again. Jordan Moody has the ball taken away from her by Taylor Thomas. They get the ball up court, and there's another bucket right there by Sydney Tangle. And Coach Aliko Dunk needs another timeout. But we're going to keep it right here. It looks like it's going to be a 30-second timeout. So Here's the situation we're looking at. Clearly, about a minute and a half ago, Loyola was trailing Stillman by a score of 14-13. They went to the free throw line. They got 2 free throws to take a 1-point lead. After that, a steal and a bucket, then another steal and a bucket, followed by various plays by Loyola has now put them up 14 in a scenario that many of us really didn't see from the beginning of this game because Stillman was going blow for blow with the number 9 team in the entire nation. So Coach Aliko Dunk definitely needs to get 2 timeouts called in that scenario because clearly his young ladies, they either need a breather or they need that wake-up call. And Wolfpack are still going to put that pressure on once again. Alexandra Heyman almost loses the ball. She'll get it over to Desiree Tyner. Tyner is going to get it over to Kelsey Smith. And they get it up across the court. Here's Tyner. Tyner will go inside. Kiesha McKinney's shot is off the mark. Rebound goes to Tangle. Here comes Hansberry. Hansberry over to Tangle. The backdoor cut now to Liz Critton, and the ball will go out of bounds. Last touch by Stillman. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock for the Wolfpack. If you're just joining us here right now, we are inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. Stillman playing host to Loyola, a team that's 21-1 on the season and ranked 9th in the entire nation. Here comes Cannon. She's going to drive. Misses the shot, but she's going to head over to the free throw line for the second time today. Loyola, as I mentioned, the 9th-ranked team in all NAIA. They are 21-1 on the season. Their only loss was an overtime loss to Bruton Parker about 3 weeks ago. So at the free throw line right now will be number 3. It'll be Tay Cannon. She's a 65% free throw shooter. Cannon, a 5th-year guard from out of Prattville, Alabama. Here comes Cannon's first free throw shot. It's off the mark. Second free throw by Cannon. It's good. 29-14 is your score. Jordan Moody tried to split a few defenders, and she almost got away with a walk right there. But here we go. Desiree Tyner will get the ball and get Stillman finally into the scoring groove once again. (29-16) is now your score. Here's Cannon running the offense. Gets it over to Liz Critton. Now into the hands of Taylor Thomas. Inside. Good block by Desiree Tyner on Cannon. And Tyner comes up with the rebound, 2 off the block. And look at Desiree Tyner setting the big screen on Cannon that knocks her down to the floor. Speaking on the floor, Jordan Moody hops on the floor, dives to keep the possession going for Stillman. Those are those hustle plays you'll look at on film on tomorrow, and all you can do is just agree with the effort right there. And Desiree Tyner looks to score a bucket. Are they saying the foul is before the shot, though? They are. So no bucket right there by Desiree Tyner. What a series for her. So we will not count the basket. Instead, there's going to be a foul on the floor. Foul is on Liz Critton. You go inside here. He'll kick it out to Jordan Moody, over to Desiree Tyner. Tyner's going to pull up for 3. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound goes to Kennedy Hansberry. Hansberry going to push it up floor to Taylor Thomas. Oh, look at those nice backdoor passes by Kennedy, who goes inside to Liz Critton. They move that ball around very smoothly. 31-16 is your score. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Here comes Lanasia Warner, gets it over to Jordan Moody. She'll get it over to Kelsey Smith in the corner for three. Her three-pointer hits the front iron. Rebound goes over to the Wolfpack. 1:30 to go. Here comes Kennedy. And Kennedy will draw the foul on the play. As Jamisha King tried to throw the foul in the paint. Instead, she'll be called for a blocking foul. That sends Kennedy back to the free throw line. As we mentioned earlier, Kennedy, another one of their best free throw shooters on the year, 74% on the season. And she misses the first free throw. So we got 1:27 to go as she attempts the second free throw, and she goes 0 for 2 in that session. Coming up at the half, we will take a look at some of the first half stats, and then we will give you more of a preview of what's to offer here on BCSN as we have snippets from some of our favorite shows on the Black College Sports Network. Here's a turnover by Stillman. Taylor Thomas trying to get separation. She does. She gets it over to Hansberry now. Hansberry tries a three off the mark, but Kennedy is there for the rebound and the putback. 33-16 is your score. As I mentioned, coming up at the half, we will have some snippets of some of the best shows to offer here on BCSN, which includes the BCSN Sports Wrap with A.D. Drew and Brian Fulford, along with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kenyatta Conville and the rest of his crew like Charles Bishop and Mike Washington. Here's a three-pointer right here by Stillman. They make it a 33-19 ball game. Three-pointer by Lanasia Warner. We can give Kelsey Smith the assist. 22 seconds to go on the game clock. We got a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. And on the shot right here, Taylor Thomas misses the ball, misses the shot. Ball goes out of bounds. Stillman will have the rock with 14 seconds to go. They'll possibly set up for a last second shot. But here's the scenario. Wolfpack ain't letting up with this full court press. But they do break the press. So here comes Warner. She will go off glass, misses the shot, and the official under the goal was about to call a block. But the faraway official called a charge, and they're going to go with the charge on the play. Definitely was a judgment call there. Kennedy Hansberry gets the ball, and she loses the ball out of bounds, so the ball will go back over. Well, it appears the ball will go back over to Stillman. Last touch by the Wolfpack. So Stillman will have a chance to get a last-second shot off with 2.2 seconds remaining. So here we go. Here's a shot. As good as it goes. No, shot is off the mark. So at the half, your score, Loyola 33, the Stillman College Lady Tigers 19. So we'll take a look at a few first half stats really quick. So on the evening, Loyola is 12 of 28 for 42%. They're 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. 8 of 14 from the free throw line, while Stillman is 8 of 32 from the field, 2 of 8 from beyond three-point range, and they've only been to the free throw line one time this evening. Stillman actually has more turnovers. They've got 11 compared to 8. And I'll tell you this, points over turnovers, not that much of a difference. Total rebounds, Loyola leads 23-19. Your leading scorers thus far, Sandra Kennedy, she's got 12 points for Loyola. On the other side, Amaria Strong, she has 7 points for Stillman. So we're going to head to our halftime break, enjoy some of the best of what we have to offer. On what we have to offer here on BCSN. We'll be right back a little later on with second half action.
I did want to talk a little bit about bowls, and people have asked questions about the Celebration Bowl in terms of the payout. What does that look like? Just to give you updates there, you're talking about $1.2 million payout in terms of the bowls that go to the conference. A percentage of that goes to the institution, depending on the split 75-25 for the SWAC 70-30 in terms of the MEAC, or that was the last percentage breakdown in terms of what that looks like. But I want to do a little comparison so you get a chance of what does that look like. Obviously, you have the major bowls, and you've seen what they do as they off the chart in terms of the New Year's Six, $14 million, significant type of money. But you see how long they've been in the business for the Rose Bowl, going back 100 years in terms of what they do there and how they're tied into the CFP and how they have really engulfed all that money. But if you look at some of the other bowls out there, there was an article that talked about the Quick Lane Bowl, really focusing on New Mexico State, which it was encouraging fans to purchase tickets. And it wasn't so much about purchasing tickets. Obviously, you want to support your team. But a lot of it would maybe be the distance that a lot of fans wouldn't necessarily travel for a 6-6 Aggies team that was playing a 6-6 Bowling Green Falcons team, if you would, coming out of the MAC all the way in Detroit. So they were asking fans to support the team that did make a bowl and purchase tickets so they could donate them to Detroit area youth. That's a great thing for the youth to get a chance to get out and see some college football. But I wanted to get into some of the money. When you talk about this particular matchup, when you see what was going on here, three things to know about the Bowling Green as they entering into at that time the Quick Lane Bowl, which was this past week, if you would, a week ago, I should say. The university closed travel cost them $400,000 travel to Detroit. When you talk about the Celebration Bowl, one thing is unique. You heard last year they got the deal with Delta, actually flew the teams in there to Atlanta, and that was at no cost to the teams. So you didn't have to worry about that type of cost where you see it doing $400K for Detroit. And so some interesting things there when you think about it. But this is really, it was interesting when I seen this, when you talk about these payouts. Because a lot of folks talk about $1 million, $2, $3 million payouts for these bowls. One thing people don't realize, a lot of times these bowls, a bigger number in there, but they'll charge you, as you see, for your travel, your hotel stay, food and things of that nature while you in there. They'll also charge you for the band in terms of the band and who you bring in there. They'll charge you a ticket price for the band members in the stand. And so the payout for the Quick Lane Bowl was $150K. Yeah, let me say that again. The payout for that bowl game was $150K, and which is why you see the fact that they were encouraging the fans to buy tickets, because this is where it can get a little benefit to the team. New Mexico State athletic director was quoted saying that the university will retain 100% of the revenue from the first 2,000 tickets it sells, 50% of the next 2,000 tickets, which by New Mexico wants its fan base to purchase all of these tickets, because if they did, they could recoup $420K in terms of what that means. So just to give you some indications of what's out there and why you really need to look at the contracts, or at least get some more information of some generalities of these various bowl games to get an understanding of what that looks like. So just on the surface, I'll go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of what that looks like when you see, especially some of these small bowls, in terms of what they bring to the table when you compare? Because a lot of folks will instantly go to the larger bowl games and say, hey, they're paying out this. And just so one of the things we always like to talk about only is the business side. So you see some of the numbers that go out there and get an understanding what that looks like. What are your thoughts?
Tremendously enlightening to really find out some of the ancillary costs. I think that those are things that you almost oftentimes take for granted, Dr. Gill, that you know, those the charging for the band and things of that nature. So you never sort of calculate those into what goes into the bigger picture. But it's fascinating to see the numbers finally, you know, out there for all of us to really grasp and understand, you know, what a jewel that you have within the Celebration Bowl, I think.
Yeah, and you see the numbers continue to move up, which always helps both in terms of attendance and the ratings, which is more powerful. So when you sit back in the table, it gives you a chance to continue to push for bigger payouts. Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of just getting a different framework the bowl landscape, how varied it can be at times.
Yeah, you often wonder, you know, you look at all of the activities that take place, and then you look at, you know, who's transporting the group here, who's transporting the group here, who's paying for this dinner, who's providing gift baskets for the team. Those are all costs that are buried underneath the umbrella of the bowl costs. So, and you take that into consideration, and then you wonder, does the bowl game have the sustainability of growth and volume over the course of 3 to 5 years to kind of, you know, eat a lot of those ancillary costs down, you know, such as transportation costs, hotel costs, dining costs, their awards costs, or whatever. I think in some bowls, some of the bigger bowls, I think some of the players get gifts or whatever. You wonder where that's covered, what pot that's covered in. So you get all those little, I guess, trinkets into that big basket of bowl costs, and then it gives you a different insight on, is this a viable bowl game? And like CB said, all that in consideration, it gives you more of an appreciation for not only the performance of the Celebration Bowl, but the growth that you've seen over the last 5-6 years.
When people work in sports, I always want to know, how did your love for sports begin?
That is a fantastic question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how I could pinpoint when the bug bit me, but I always talk about, in our house growing up, there was always a black and white picture of my mom's basketball team. And so I grew up knowing that she started as a freshman. She was also part of integrating a predominantly white school. And so she would tell me about some of the struggles that were involved with that. And so I think that always I kind of wanted to make her proud, and I always felt like the bar, she never said that, but I always felt like the bar was going to be starting as a freshman and doing those other things. Although I played softball in high school as well, basketball was my first love. And ironically, one of those things, when you've looked at that, something for so long, I did start as a freshman. And one of my most favorite years of all in sports was that freshman year when I was allowed to play on the junior high team and the high school team. I grew up in a small Class B school, and so absolutely loved that year where I was playing basketball 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and you know, like you said, you just wanted to make her proud, even though she never said it, but you was trying to follow her footsteps, and that's pretty cool. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a Hall of Famer from your alma mater, with such honors as Player of the Week, OIC Scholar Athlete, OIC and District 9 All-Conference teams, and Northwestern Ranger Queen. What amazing accomplishments. How, with basketball classes, possibly campaigning for Ranger Queen, how were you able to juggle all this and keep your GPA up?
Well, it's one of those things that I absolutely loved college, and some of my friends from the Baptist Student Union, they were my sponsoring group for Ranger Queen. They talked me into it, and ironically, It's the first time that I learned that other people other people can see some things in yourself that you may not see at the time. I
Right.
never ever considered myself queen material at all. And I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it had some of my friends were like, hey, we'll help you with the posters, we'll help you, we'll back you, you can do this. Everybody knows you, but they didn't know me in that realm. And so I don't know, that was a very eye-opening and life-changing time for me as well. So to be voted in by my peers at a PWI meant a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I always saw myself just as, you know, a jock, an athlete, a scholar. I did see those things as me, but a queen, I never saw that.
Well, you're a queen, sister. That's for sure. You are amazing. Just, you know, researching and reading your bio, I was like, wow, she is amazing. And that's why I'm so excited that you're our very first guest. Eddie Rogers, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Langston in 1998. I believe 9 years after you graduated, or 8 or 9 years, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How was that moment for you to be honored in that way?
You know, no one really prepares you. It's like when you're excited about it, and I was honored. My family was there to see me inducted, but I was not prepared for the rush of memories as you're getting ready to thank those that have played a part in your induction. I just saw the hours and hours outside playing on a grass court, the excitement when my dad built my first goal. And it was big because he actually had a welder. I had the metal pole, the everything, still had a grass court. But I mean, I looked at all the hours that were spent in the backyard and that had brought me to that point. The sacrifices that my mom and dad had made. We weren't rich by any means. My mom was a school teacher. And, you know, all of that was full circle. And I just felt grateful to God that he allowed me to experience that moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Eddie Rogers, you served 4 years as an athletic director for women's sports and was selected as AD of the Year for Region 6 in 2003. Now, I never knew there could be separate ADs for women and men's sports. Could you elaborate on that for me? I mean, why was it just for women's sport?
So at that point in time, we were at NEI Division I school. And so we split the responsibility. Part of my time, there were 2 years that the other men's AD.
And welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall here on the campus of Stillman College. At the half, the Lady Tigers trail Loyola's Wolfpack 33-19. I'm Mo Carter. I want to thank you for joining us here for HBCU basketball on BCSN and HBCU League Pass Plus. The main difference in this game was a run that Wolfpack of Loyola went on. They went on a 13-0 run in a span of about 2 minutes, and that really blew open the game. Stillman started off this game very strongly, but then after that, the Wolfpack have shown why they're the number 9 team in the entire nation. So starting off the second half will be Stillman taking the ball out of bounds. And we got a foul quickly on the floor. Lanasia Warner was the one who takes the ball out, and now Lanasia Warner is going to take the ball out again. She'll pass it in to Jordan Moody. Here comes Moody. Gives it back over to Warner. Warner throws it across court to Farrah Pearson, and Pearson knocks down the jumper from the charity stripe. Little man-to-man full court defense now for Stillman. Here comes the Wolfpack now. Can they answer the early bucket by Stillman? Hansberry gets it over to Thomas. Ball gets knocked away, but Hansberry gets the ball back. She'll swing it over to McMillan. McMillan's three-pointer hits the back iron, and Jordan Moody runs down the rebound. Lady Tigers down by 12. Jamisha King thought about a three-pointer. Instead, they'll go inside to Farrah Pearson. Pearson's going to kick it out to Lanasia Warner, back over to Jordan Moody. Moody tries to hit King inside, won't happen. Here comes Pearson. Pearson's going to kick it out. Here's a shot that goes off the glass. It's off the mark, but rebound by Pearson. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, and Pearson scores again on the putback. Farrah Pearson makes this a 10-point game. Here comes Kennedy Hansberry. Here's Hansberry, will pull up for the jumper and scores the first points of the second half for Loyola. They're now back on top by 12. Here's Jordan Moody. Ball gets kicked out of bounds by Taylor Thomas. Here comes Moody. Moody will swing it over, and now she'll get the ball back. Into the hands of Lanasia Warner. Warner gets it over. Missed shot right there by Stillman. Had a good look at the... Here comes the Wolfpack now. Hansberry. Going to drive on Moody, and there's going to be a foul on the shot. Jamisha King will be called for the foul. All right, so we've got a substitution as Jamisha King will be subbed out for Keasia McKinney. 35-23 is your score. As we mentioned, these two teams met earlier in the season, and it was all Loyola with a 72-48 victory in that one. At the line right now is Kennedy Hansberry. Hansberry, one of the better free throw shooters on the team, and she knocks down the first one. She's a 79% free throw shooter. She goes 2 for 2. She puts her team up by 14, 37-23, and as of now, they've got a full court press. And here comes Kennedy Hansberry. Into the hands of Warner. Here's a three-pointer by Warner, and it's good from downtown. Going inside, here's Kennedy. Kennedy's going to kick it out to McMillan, and it's going to be another foul on the floor. So Jasmine McMillan now at the free throw line. 51%, 54% free throw shooter on the season. And she knocks down the second free throw, making it 39-26. And here comes the Wolfpack with that full court press once again. How about this? Farrah Pearson throws it all the way up court. Lanasia Warner has the bucket. She goes high off glass, and Lanasia Warner will score. On the baseline, here comes Liz Critton, and the ball is stolen by Warner. Stillman's got numbers. Here's Warner, the pump fake and the score by Warner. She makes it a 9-point game. It's a single-digit deficit for the first time since the middle of the second quarter. $39-30 is your score. Starting to get a little lively in here now. Here comes McMillan. McMillan's shot is off the mark. Rebound. We're going to have a loose ball foul on the play. And the foul is going to be on Jasmine McMillan, so Stillman will take over the possession. So here's Farrah Pearson. She will get the ball off the inbounds. Pushing the ball up court right now is Lanasia Warner. Warner's going to take a three and knock it down. It's a 6-point game. 39-33 thanks to that three-pointer by Lanasia Warner. Credit to Maria Strong with the assist. Loyola is going to try to respond, and they do. Kennedy goes off glass and scores right there. All right, so we've got a timeout, but I think we're going to keep it right here for the most part. 8-point game right now. Loyola is on top of the Lady Tigers, but you have to give the Lady Tigers credit for coming out and playing well in this third quarter, because the way the second quarter ended, they were dominated by the number 9 team in the entire nation. But they have come out and they have shot the ball well, especially from outside. Lanasia Warner looking great from deep downtown with three-pointers that she has knocked down thus far. All right, everyone, in the meantime, let me go ahead and read this. Now it's time for the Align for Life second half adjustments. This is brought to you by Align for Life Chiropractors, located at 1800 Jonesboro Road in Atlanta, Georgia. Call them at 404-383-1110. Once again, 404-383-1110 to set up your appointment. And shout out to Dr. Williams and Dr. Fowler. Both are proud members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. As we get ready back for the action, once again, 5:21 to go. Loyola on top of Stillman, 41-33. Stillman has come out blazing in the third quarter to cut into this deficit. The bigger question is, can they keep it up against the top-ranked team in the conference and the number 9 team in all of NAIA basketball? Here's the inbounds. It's Desiree Tyner. Tyner will throw it up to Kelsey Smith. They've got numbers. They get it over to Farrah Pearson. Pearson's going to have to kick it out, and the ball is stolen right there by number 1, Taylor Thomas. She will get it up court to Hansberry. Hansberry will go up to Kennedy, and the shot is blocked by Farrah Pearson. Ball in the hands of Desiree Tyner now, and Kelsey Smith will lose the ball. She'll get it over to Hansberry, and Tyner will be called for a foul in the paint right here that'll send Hansberry back to the free throw line. So at the free throw line will be Kennedy Hansberry. She'll be looking for her 10th point of the evening. But here's what we're going to do. There's a timeout on the floor, so we're going to take it with them. 4:54 to go. 41-33 is your score. We're going to be right back.
Work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado with a sophisticated high-tech interior.
Open the door.
It's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loot machine. Going around town, trying to get down.
All right, and we're back inside the Birthright Alumni Hall. 41-33 is your score. Wolfpack on top of the Lady Tigers. At the free throw line will be Kennedy Hansberry. She's already got 9 points on the evening. And Hansberry, one of their better free throw shooters on the year, 79% from the charity stripe. She definitely takes advantage of these free shots from the charity stripe like she does right there, making it 42-33 now. Loyola out in front. Loyola coming into this game 21-1, 14-1 in conference play. As Hansberry knocks down the second ball. And how about this football pass to LaNasia Warner down the floor and scores? What a play by Stillman on that one. It's Super Bowl week. LaNasia Warner caught that thing over the shoulder like a wide receiver and then scored the easy bucket. And let's give the assist to Farrah Pearson. On the other end, how about the Euro step by Taylor Thomas, splitting two defenders right there, making it a 10-point game once again, 45-35. LaNasia Warner, can she respond? No. Three-pointer off the mark. And here's a rebound by Kiesha McKinney. Here's Warner. She's going to pull up for three again, well off the mark. Rebound by Farrah Pearson, but Pearson throws it away into the hands of Tango. And Tango will get it over to Kennedy, and she misses the shot, but she scores on her putback. Here's a three-point attempt by Stillman. Off the mark. Stillman trailing by 12. Wolfpack trying to extend that lead. Here's Hansberry. Her shot's off the mark, but rebound goes to Tara Snell. Snell's going to get back over to Taylor Thomas. Into the corner. Here's Kennedy for a long two-pointer, and it's good. 14-point deficit now for Stillman. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. They try to go inside the Kiesha McKinney. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. It will remain with the Lady Tigers. And there's a bucket right there by Stillman. Chance of defense can be heard here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall as the band has now made their way inside the gymnasium. Here's Cannon. She drives. Rebound. Kiesha McKinney. They get tied up. Possession will remain with Loyola. .2:15 to go in the third quarter. Your score, Loyola 49, Stillman 37. Loyola throws it away. Ball is taken away by Warner. Warner's going to throw it across the way to Kelsey Smith, and Smith will score. It's a 10-point game once again. And the ball will go off the hands of the Wolfpack and go back over to Stillman. So the Lady Tigers have a chance to make this a single-digit deficit once again. On the floor right now, Kiesha McKinney, Kelsey Smith, Jamisha King, Lenasia Warner, and Amaria Strong. Here's a drive by the Lady Tigers. Ball is blocked. Wolfpack, they've got numbers, and they lose the ball going out of bounds. Possession will go back over to Stillman. Stillman could use a win to carry the momentum into the late portion of their season with only a number of games left. Here's Amaria Strong. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. It will remain with Stillman. Stillman's got 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. 1:17 to go on the game clock in the third quarter. And the ball is almost stolen away by Loyola. Good hustle, though, by Stillman as Lenasia Warner tries a three-pointer and hits the side of the backboard. Here comes Hansberry, and she's going to be fouled, and it's going to be look like she'll head to the free throw line once again. As I mentioned, a come-from-behind victory today for Stillman will go a long way with only so many games left in the regular season. Of course, tonight they're taking on Loyola, the 9th-ranked team in the entire nation. Then they will travel across I-20 to Talladega on February the 11th, which is on Saturday. Then they will travel down to Montgomery to take on Faulkner on Valentine's evening. And then homecoming week will culminate right here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall as they take on those same Tornadoes from Talladega College. The women's game beginning at 12 p.m. In the meantime, they're trying to take care of things here inside of Birthright against Loyola first. 12 seconds to go on the free throw, on the possession, and there is a steal by Kennedy, and then there's another steal by Lenasia Warner. Warner's going to try to drive, go up glass, wild shot off the mark. Kiesha McKinney, the turnaround off the glass is good. 51-41. 20 seconds to go. Shot clock is off. Ten seconds. Here's Cannon. Gets it over to Tango. And Tango goes off glass and scores a bucket as the buzzer sounds. So we played 3 here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. Loyola on top 53-41. We got fourth quarter action when we come back on BCSN.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado. With a sophisticated high-tech interior,
Open the door.
it's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And we're back inside of Birthright Alumni Hall for fourth quarter action. Right now, Loyola's Wolfpack on top of the Lady Tigers of Stillman, 53-41. Your game stats right now, Stillman is 18 of 50 from the field. Loyola 19 of 43 from the field. Loyola has only knocked down 1 of 7 3-pointers. Stillman has knocked down 4 of 13. Loyola has been to the foul line 20 times, made 14. Stillman's only been to the charity stripe once. They're only 1 of 1. Here's a three-point attempt by Stillman. It is off the mark. Jordan Moody tries to run down the rebound. However, it gets into the hands of Cannon. Cannon will get it over to Tango in the corner. Her three-pointer off the mark. Jamisha King comes up with the rebound. Here comes Jordan Moody running the offense now. As students and fans of Stillman are starting to really pack this arena behind us. Farrah Pearson trying to back down on the defender, goes off glass and scores. That's Farrah Pearson with another bucket. Farrah Pearson with 6 points. 8 points now. She's 4 of 10 from the field. LaNasia Warner is the leading scorer for Stillman with 17. Amaria Strong, she's got 9. Here comes Cannon. Cannon's going to kick it out. Three-point attempt by the Wolfpack is off the mark. Missed shot right there by Tangle. Here's Jamisha King. She's going to try to drive. Her shot's off the mark. Farrah Pearson can't get the rebound, but the ball was last touched by the Wolfpack. It will remain with Stillman. 53-43 remains your score. It's a 10-point deficit. Checking into the game right now is Liz Critton. She will replace Tara Snell, who is heading to the bench. So on the inbounds, here's Farrah Pearson, gets it over to Jordan Moody. Moody will swing it over to LaNasia Warner. She thought about a three-pointer. Instead, she'll get it back over to Moody. Now, here comes Amaria Strong. Strong's going to pull up. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound goes to the Wolfpack. Chance of defense can be heard here inside of Birthright as Loyola has the ball, and the shot is blocked by Farrah Pearson on Kennedy. Here's Jordan Moody. She's going to pull up. Misses the shot. Rebound goes to Cannon. Moody had a really good look at that. Here's a steal, almost a steal. And we're going to have a foul here on the floor. So Wolfpack will keep possession. Here's Hansberry. Hansberry goes inside to Critton. Ball almost stolen by Pearson. 1 second to go on the shot clock, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. That's probably an error you do not see too often with Loyola. But court awareness was not at its top of the contest in that situation. So here comes Jamisha King. She will swing it over to Strong. Strong's three-pointer off the mark, but King runs down the rebound and then loses the ball on the baseline. Want to give a big shout out to Stillman's athletic director, Coach Terrence Whittle. And, of course, he's the head baseball coach as well. And the other evening, they started off their season with a huge pair of wins. And when I mean huge, I'm talking about very large. They started off their season with a pair of wins over Oakwood in the Huntsville, Alabama area. Of course, Oakwood's just beginning their baseball program, and Oakwood kind of gave them Oakwood received a welcome to the league type contest in which Stillman won the first game 27-2, and then they won the second game 21-0 in a combined no-hitter by the Stillman pitching staff. So next up for the Stillman baseball team, they'll take on in-state foe and longtime rival Tuskegee on Friday in a doubleheader. First game begins at 12. Second game should begin somewhere around 3 p.m., and that'll be right here in Tuscaloosa at Tiger Field. So go out and support the baseball team under the guidance of Coach Terrence Whittle. Back to the action here on the court. Hansberry gets it over to Cannon. Cannon's going to stop, pop, but can't knock down the shot. Jordan Moody, she's got the rock. She'll throw it up to Farrah Pearson. Pearson's got a good look inside. She turns it around, high off glass. No foul called. Rebound goes over to Hansberry. We're approaching the 5-minute mark in this contest. Here's a three-point attempt. Hits the back iron by Taylor Thomas. But the rebound goes back into the hands of Cannon. She'll get it over to Hansberry. Loyola trying to run a little clock now with a 10-point lead inside the Cannon. Shot over Jamisha King. Gets the kind bounce, and it's good. 55-43 is your score. Loyola up by 12. Here comes Amaria Strong. Strong is going to go inside with a strong move and scores the strong bucket. She makes it a 10-point game once again. Here's Cannon being guarded closely by Jordan Moody. McMillan now with the rock. In the corner to Taylor Thomas. Now over to Hansberry. Hansberry is going to kick it back over to Thomas. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's a high arcing shot. Nothing but net by Taylor Thomas. She extends the lead, making it 12 points once again, 57-45. Here comes Amaria Strong, and Strong is going to be fouled on the play. All right, there's a timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. 4:20 to go. Lady Tigers down by 12. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And we're back inside the Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm Mo Carter, and this is Stillman College women's basketball, and Stillman takes on the ninth ranked team in the entire nation, or in the NAIA, the Loyola Wolfpack. Right now, Stillman trails 57-45. We're at 4:20 to go, and at the free throw line for only the second time today. That is amazing that Stillman has only been to the free throw line twice today. And the first free throw is up, and it is good by Amaria Strong. Strong goes 2 for 2. She's got 12 points on the evening. Amaria Strong makes it a 10-point game once again. It seems like Stillman can get it to 10 or 9 points. They just cannot get it beyond that. Here's a potential trap, but Hansberry gets out the trap, and now they're going to call a foul. Looks like they're going to catch number 10, and that's Lanasia Warner. We're near the 4-minute mark to go in the fourth quarter. So Hansberry being guarded closely by Lanasia Warner. Warner's got 3 fouls. Hansberry's got 11 points. Gets over to Taylor Thomas. Ball knocked away by Farrah Pearson. And she tries to save it, but it goes out of bounds. The ball will remain with the Wolfpack. Which now makes me wonder, too, because if they're going to say the ball's going to remain with the Wolfpack, Pearson didn't have full possession of the ball, so why did the shot clock reset? All right, the shot clock will go back to 8 seconds now. Wolfpack taking the ball out. And we got an offensive foul on the floor, so ball will go back over to Stillman. Tay Cannon will be called for the offensive foul on the play. 3:51 to go. Stillman trailing by 10. Here's Farrah Pearson. Gets it over to Kiesha McKinney. Back in the hands of Amaria Strong. Strong has a good look. Instead, she'll kick it out to Lanasia Warner. Warner's got 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. Farrah Pearson gives her a screen. Here's Warner, the three-pointer. Off the mark. Long rebound made by Liz Critton. Looking at the body language of Coach Aliko Dunk right there. He's saying good shot, but he wished they would have came away with points on that possession. Here's Hansberry. Hansberry will swing it back over to Taylor Thomas. Thomas is going to drive, and she's going to draw the foul. She'll head to the free throw line. Taylor Thomas, the best free throw shooter on the entire team. 91% from the free throw line. It's almost like she is one of those gimme point people. So we'll find out. On the year, Taylor Thomas, 91% free throw shooter, averaging almost 12 points a game. Nothing but net right there for Taylor Thomas. Young lady from out of Missouri City, Texas. That's in the Houston area. Second free throw, nothing but net. 59-47. There's that 12-point lead once again. Kelsey Smith bringing the ball up court. Stillman not out of it, but they need some points soon. Lanasia Warner's got the rock. Gets it over to Amaria Strong. Inside to Farrah Pearson. Pearson's going to back down on the defender. Off the glass and scores for Farrah Pearson. Pearson now with 10 points, and she makes it a 10-point deficit. The handoff to McMillan. Being guarded closely by Strong. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. Taylor Thomas with the rock. She wants to go inside to Kennedy. That's not going to happen. Instead, Hansberry's got the ball. She will kick it out to McMillan. McMillan, the pump fake, the pull up, misses the shot. But rebound was in the hands of Critton, and then they try to save it. The ball will go back over to Stillman. 2:13 to go. Loyola still on top, 59-49. Loyola, the 9th-ranked team in all of NAIA. Stillman has already knocked off one top 10 team this year in Southeastern. They're trying to do it again. They've got 2 minutes to do so. Here comes Kelsey Smith. Smith into the hands of Lanasia Warner. Warner's going to get a screen from Pearson. Instead, she'll go inside to Kiesha McKinney. McKinney almost loses the rock. She'll throw it up to Pearson. Pearson's got the rock at the top of the free throw line. Pulls up, misses the shot. Rebound, though, by Stillman. Here's the putback. No! Rebound again by Stillman. And we're going to have a travel call. Travel is called on Amaria Strong. Strong was crashing the boards nicely. She just could not get a bucket. on that possession. Here comes the Wolfpack. They'll get it up to Christian. Air ball. Rebound goes to the hands of Lanasia Warner. Warner's going to try to push it, and Warner's going to get fouled. Looks like the foul is going to be on Jasmine McMillan. Lanasia Warner heading over to the free throw line. On the season, Lanasia Warner is a 71% free throw shooter. She knocks down the first one, 59-50. 126 to go in this one. At the conclusion of this game, we will sign off, and then about 15 minutes later, keep it locked right here on BCSN because we've got the men's game between Loyola and Stillman. And we've got a timeout here on the floor, but we're going to keep it locked right here. So right now, 1:19 to go. Loyola up 59-51. Coach Aliko Dunk talking to his team right now, telling them they need to play great defense. They need to find a way to get a turnover, and they need to get some quick points. They are not out of this game, but they need some points to stay in this game with so little time left. As we mentioned, we can take a look at the rest of the schedule. Only a few games remain. On February the 11th, which is this Saturday, the Stillman women will travel down I-20 to Talladega for a battle with the Lady Tornadoes. Then they will head to Montgomery in the capital city to take on Faulkner on Valentine's evening at 5:30. Then they will wrap up the regular season right here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall next week Saturday against Talladega College. The women's game will begin at 12 p.m. It will also culminate homecoming weekend here in Tuscaloosa. So expect a capacity crowd to be on hand to see their favorite basketball team take on one of their newer rivals in the SSAC. Right now, though, 1:17 to go. Here's Hansberry. She gets trapped, and ball is stolen by Keasia McKinney. Here comes Kelsey Smith. And she throws the ball away. No, ball is stolen by Farrah Pearson, and Pearson gets the bucket. Pearson makes it a 6-point game. Kennedy, she's now got the ball. Chance of defense once again. Here comes the double team. Kennedy, she's now got the ball. She's going to dribble it out. She's got 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. She'll get it over to Taylor Thomas. Thomas being guarded closely by Farrah Pearson. 8 seconds to go. And we've got a foul here. Lanasia Warner will be called for her 4th foul. 38 seconds to go, 59-53. As we mentioned, at the conclusion of this women's game, we'll give you the recap of the stats, and then after that, we'll sign off momentarily to get you ready for the men's game. We've got another foul here on the floor. Two of the best offenses will go head-to-head in the men's game. Going to the line now is Taylor Thomas, 91% free throw shooter. Sorry, Stillman, you're going to make a whole lot more noise than that to disrupt a 91% free throw shooter. It's like sending John Stockton to the free throw line or Steph Curry. These dudes do not miss from the free throw line, just like Taylor does not miss. She goes 2 for 2 in that situation. It's an 8-point game. They've got a timeout here on the floor, but we're going to keep it with it. So, as we mentioned, everyone, coming up at the conclusion of this game, we'll run over final stats and we'll get you ready for the men's game, which features the team that's ranked number 1, 6, and 5th. Loyola checks into today's game for the men first, while Stillman is tied for 5th. Should be a good one between these two as well. Last time those two teams met, it was in New Orleans. Stillman played a great game, but they could not overcome some late game deficits and ended up falling 93 to 81. Here's our situation right now. 37.4 seconds to go. Loyola on top of the Lady Tigers, 61 to 53. Here's Stillman taking the ball out. They need a score on this possession. Here's Farrah Pearson going inside to Keasia McKinney. McKinney's shot is blocked by Kennedy. And we're going to have a foul called on the play. Keasia McKinney is going to be called for the foul. If you're Stillman, that was not the possession you really needed. If anything, you will want to score on that possession. Unfortunately, they could not. So going to the line right now will be Kennedy. Kennedy, a 74% free throw shooter, and she shows you why right there. Makes it a 9-point game once again. On the evening, Kennedy has 18 points, looking for a 19-point, and she gets it with the kind roll. 10-point game once again. Here comes Kelsey Smith. Bring the ball up court. Nasia Waters wide open, and she loses the ball, but before she does, there's a foul on the floor. The foul will be on Taylor Thomas. Non-shooting foul. And we got another timeout. Coach Aliko Dunk will go ahead and take that timeout. I guess you could say, hey, you can't take them into the locker room with them. In the meantime, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Align for Life second half adjustments. This is brought to you by Align for Life Chiropractors located at 1800 Jonesboro Road in Atlanta, Georgia. Call them at 404-383-1110 to set up your appointment. Shout out to Dr. Williams and Dr. Fowler. Both are proud members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Also, as we prepare for our 25th anniversary, we're asking you for your support to continue as we grow our coverage and all broadcasting of all HBCU sports. Visit myjbn.com/grow, GROW, and choose how you would like to support our work. We ask that you at least follow us on our social media platforms, download the app, and share it with your friends. We hope to continue to be the largest producer of HBCU sports for another 25 years and beyond. And that's a special message from our boss man, Roy Evans. Taking the ball out right now is Stillman. They get it over to Nasia Warner. She's going to pull up for three. Shot hits the front iron, and rebound goes to Kennedy, and it's going to be a foul on the floor. Oh, actually, it's going to be a timeout. And there was a foul. Okay, I know I saw the foul for sure. So 19.8 seconds to go. Loyola's definitely going to try to ice this game now, coming up with these free throws as well. As I mentioned, you want to stay tuned. During the post game, we'll run you down the final stats of the contest, and then following that, we'll sign off momentarily to get you ready for the men's game. A battle of the top-ranked team in the SSAC and the fifth-ranked team in the SSAC. And I'll tell you this game definitely could have gone a long way if Stillman would have been able to pull off a victory. I know the clock still hasn't hit the final buzzer, but with only 3 games left on the season and the SSAC tournament in about 14, 15 days, could have definitely went a long way. Hansberry just trying to play keep away now at this point. We're down to 10 seconds, and now we've got a foul on the floor. So going to the line right now is Kennedy Hansberry. She's got 11 points on the evening. Hansberry makes it an 11-point game. Second free throw by Hansberry is good. 8.6 to go. 12-point game. 4 seconds. Here's Kelsey Smith. She'll get it over to Amaria Strong. Her three-pointer is good if it goes, and it is not good. And that's your final buzzer, everyone. So Stillman played well, but they could not find the extra juice to knock off the 9th-ranked team in all of NAIA. They fall to Loyola by a final score of 65-53 here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. Let's run you down the final stats. First of all, for Loyola, Loyola was 21 of 52 on the evening for 40%. They were 1 of 10 from three-point range. They were 22 of 28 from the charity stripe. For Stillman, they were 22 of 68 from the field, 4 of 19 from three-point range, and they were 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Stillman actually had more points off of turnovers with 14, but it was Loyola that won the rebounding battle 42-36. Let's take a look at some individual scoring efforts now. Leading the way for Loyola, it was number 20, and that is Sandra Kennedy. She had 20 points and 13 rebounds, double-double on the evening. Kennedy Hansberry, she had 13 points and 5 rebounds. Leading the way for the Stillman Lady Tigers is Lanasia Warner with 19 points and 3 rebounds. Amaria Strong had 13 points. Farrah Pearson had 12 points. So, with today's decision, Loyola will improve to 22-1 on the season, 15-1 in conference play, while Stillman will fall to 14-11 on the season, 6-9 in conference play. So that'll wrap it up for the women's game here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. We will go ahead and sign off, but don't stay away too long because in about 15 minutes, we've got the men's game as in the battle of number 1 against number 5 in the SSAC. For Mo Carter, I want to thank you for joining us, and the entire